Let me ask you something. When was the last time someone truly saw you? Not your status, not your money, not the mask you wear for the world, but you. Because that's exactly what this story is about. A powerful man, a hidden truth, and a blind date that changed everything. Let me take you there. James Callahan was the name on every business magazine's cover. The man who turned a garage startup into a billion-dollar company. He had the yacht, the penthouse, the tailor-made suits, and the kind of influence that made people stand up a little straighter when he entered a room. But behind that polished smile and empire was a father of two, widowed, tired, and secretly lonely. James had lost his wife to cancer when their twins were just 3 years old. Since then, every waking moment had been about work and raising them. And while his bank account grew, his heart quietly broke. His world was spreadsheets by day, bedtime stories by night. Until one evening, sitting alone on his balcony while his kids giggled and sighed, he realized something painful. He had everything, except someone to share it with. But here's the twist. He didn't want to find someone who wanted James Callahan, the CEO. He wanted someone who'd fall for James, the man. So, he did something no one expected. He created a fake dating profile under a different name. No suits, no titles, no pictures of yachts. Just a regular dad who worked in maintenance and raised his kids on his own. And then came the message. Her name was Lily, a kindergarten teacher. Smart, grounded, and refreshingly real. She didn't care for luxury cars or designer shoes. She talked about her students like they were family. She'd been burned before, once by a man who lied, and once by a man who left. So trust didn't come easy for her. But something about James, this broke, single dad, felt safe. When he asked if she'd mind if he brought his twins along on their first date, she didn't hesitate. She said yes. And here's where the story unfolds. They met at a small park cafe. James wore worn jeans and a thrift store hoodie. Lily arrived in a sundress, holding a small book she thought the twins might enjoy. No pretense, no judgment, just laughter, spilled hot chocolate, and a connection that felt surprisingly effortless. The kids loved her. She listened, not just with her ears, but with her whole heart. And James, he found himself smiling in a way he hadn't in years. They talked about everything: life, loss, parenting, dreams. And yet, the deeper they went, the more guilty he felt. Because she was falling for the man he was, but didn't appear to be. Weeks passed, and the bond grew. They took the kids to fairs, made pancakes on Saturdays, danced in the kitchen to old music. But the weight of the lie was catching up. Then one afternoon, it happened. They were at Lily's place, helping her fix a broken light, when the twins innocently let it slip. Daddy's office has a slide in it. And a chef. And Uncle Greg flies the helicopter. Lily paused. She looked at James. And he knew. The moment he had dreaded was here. The truth came tumbling out. Every piece. Who he really was, what he did, and why he had lied. He expected anger. Betrayal. For her to walk out and slam the door behind her. But Lily just sat quietly for a while. Then she asked one question. Why? His answer. Because I wanted someone who wouldn't fall in love with the lifestyle. I wanted someone who would love me when I had nothing but a heart and 2 kids to give. She smiled, with tears in her eyes, and said something James would never forget. I already did. That moment changed everything. Not just for James. For all of us. Because here's the truth hiding in plain sight. Authenticity is rare. And real love, even rarer. In a world obsessed with filters, flexing, and followers, being real is the most rebellious, courageous act there is. This story isn't just about a CEO or a blind date. It's about what happens when we strip away the titles, the wealth, the masks, and let someone see the scars beneath. It's about the power of showing up as we truly are. And most importantly, it's about what we gain when we stop pretending. So, if you're out there, pretending to be someone you're not, trying to be impressive instead of authentic, chasing validation instead of connection, remember this. The people who are meant for you will never need you to wear a mask. They'll love the version of you that laughs too loud, dreams too big, or messes up sometimes. Just like Lily did. And just like James finally allowed himself to be imperfect, vulnerable, and real. By the way, they got married last spring. Small ceremony. No press. Just close friends, the twins' flower kids, and Lily walking down the aisle in a simple white dress, barefoot in the grass. And James. He gave a speech. Not as a CEO. But as a man who finally understood what it meant to be truly rich. So today, I challenge you. Be bold enough to be real. Love enough to be seen. And trust enough to let life surprise you. Because sometimes, everything does change. When someone sees who you really are. Thank you. Have you ever thought about what comes after the fairytale moment? After the confession, after the, I already did, after the happily ever after? Because real life doesn't stop where the movies fade to black. That's where the real story begins. Let's pick up where we left off. James, Lily, and the twins, standing in a quiet park on a Sunday morning. The truth had come out. The mask had come off. And against all odds, love had remained. But here's the part no one talks about. Even when love survives the truth, it still has to survive the world. And the world wasn't kind. The moment the media found out that James Callahan, billionaire CEO, had been quietly dating a schoolteacher, the headlines exploded. CEO caught in secret romance with ordinary woman. Blind date to boardroom, is she after his money? Rags and riches are just another gold digger. Paparazzi followed Lily to school. Parents whispered. The internet, cruel as ever, had opinions about everything, from her shoes to her intentions. And James, he offered everything to make it stop. Security, private schools for the twins, a team of lawyers. But Lily refused most of it. I don't want to be protected like I'm fragile, she told him. I want to be respected like I'm strong. That moment, right there, shook James more than any business deal ever had. Because this woman, who loved his children, who loved him, was being judged by a world that didn't understand love without conditions. They faced more storms than either expected. There were arguments, late nights, the kids struggling to adjust, moments of doubt, wondering if their worlds were just too far apart. But here's where the real magic happened. They didn't run, they sat in the tension. They grew through the pain. And together, they chose a love that wasn't based on ease, but on effort. One night, after a particularly hard day, James found Lily on the balcony. The same balcony where, a year ago, he realized he was alone. This time, she was holding a mug of tea, wrapped in a blanket, watching the city lights. He sat beside her and asked quietly, "Are we crazy for trying this?" She turned to him and smiled. "Maybe. But I'd rather be crazy in love than safe and alone." And that was the truth. See, the world will always have something to say when you step out of its boxes. When a wealthy CEO falls for a humble teacher. When a woman dares to be more than someone's background story. When a man chooses love over legacy. But their story was never about proving anything to the world. It was about proving something to themselves. That truth, when spoken bravely, invites love to deepen. That love, when chosen daily, builds the strongest kind of legacy. So what happened next? They created their own rules. Lily kept teaching, but she also launched a foundation for underprivileged schools, with James funding it, but her leading it. James cut back on his hours and started showing up to school plays, football games, and bedtime stories, every time, front row. And the twins, they didn't just gain a stepmom. They gained a warrior, who taught them that kindness is louder than status, and love is bigger than money. Now here's why you needed to hear this story. Because maybe you're like James. Wearing a mask, hiding behind success, scared that if someone saw the real you, they'd run. Or maybe you're like Lily. Underestimated, misjudged, told to stay in your lane, because people don't see your strength yet. Either way, this story is a mirror. You are not too much. You are not too little. You are exactly enough, for the right people. And when you stop pretending, when you stop shrinking, when you live with truth and choose love in the face of fear, everything changes. Not overnight, not perfectly, but permanently. In the end, James didn't just find love. He found freedom. And Lily didn't just find a partner. She found power in her own voice. Together, they didn't build a brand. They built a life. And that is the most extraordinary success story of all. So let me leave you with this. You don't need to be a millionaire to live richly. You don't need a perfect past to deserve a beautiful future. You don't need to impress the world, you need to impact the people who matter. And that starts with truth. With courage. With showing up, again and again, as you. Because when you do, everything can change. Thank you.